The countdown to another chapter of rugby's greatest rivalry is well underway, and as anticipation builds ahead of the first test between the Springboks and the All Blacks at Ellis Park, one of the most respected voices in world rugby has offered a fascinating perspective on South Africa's biggest strength and what could potentially become its biggest challenge. Former All Blacks head coach Sir Steve Hansen, the man who guided New Zealand to Rugby World Cup glory in 2015, believes that Rassie Erasmus is currently dealing with what many coaches around the world would dream of having. Yet, according to Hansen, that same advantage could create difficult decisions if not handled carefully. As rugby fans debate who should wear the famous number 10 jersey for South Africa, Hansen believes the answer is far from simple because the Springboks possess an incredible level of talent that gives them multiple ways to approach one of the biggest matches of the year. The discussion begins with the return of Sacha Feinberg-Mngomezulu, whose comeback against Argentina provided another exciting option for the Springboks coaching staff. However, the young star is not the only world-class fly-half available. South Africa also has the experience and composure of Handre Pollard, a player who has repeatedly delivered in rugby's biggest moments, and the creativity and attacking flair of Manie Libbok, who has become one of the most entertaining playmakers in the modern game. For many international teams, having one elite fly-half is considered a luxury. The Springboks currently have 3 players capable of starting a major test match, and that is exactly why Hansen described the situation as a hell of a good problem to have. According to the former New Zealand coach, the decision is not simply about selecting the best player. Instead, it comes down to the type of rugby South Africa wants to play against the All Blacks. If the Springboks want control, tactical kicking, and a reliable goal kicker under intense pressure, then Handre Pollard becomes an obvious choice. His calmness, experience, and ability to manage territory have made him one of the most trusted players in world rugby. On the other hand, if South Africa wants to play with greater attacking freedom and inject more pace into their game, then Manie Libbok or Sacha Feinberg-Mngomezulu could provide a different dimension. Hansen believes each option is strong enough to start, which makes predicting the final selection almost impossible. What makes this situation even more interesting is that the Springboks no longer rely on a single game plan. Under Rassie Erasmus, South Africa has evolved into a team capable of winning matches in multiple ways. There was a time when many opponents viewed the Springboks primarily as a physical team focused on forward dominance and territorial pressure. While those strengths remain a huge part of their identity, the current squad has developed far more flexibility. They can play a power game, they can kick strategically, and they can also attack with speed and creativity when opportunities appear. Hansen believes that this versatility is one of the reasons why South Africa has become such a difficult team to prepare for. Opponents are no longer trying to stop one version of the Springboks. They are trying to stop several versions of the same team. That is where the fly-half debate becomes especially important. Whoever starts at number 10 will provide clues about the strategy South Africa intends to use against New Zealand. Hansen pointed out that the Springboks have the luxury of adjusting their approach throughout the match. They could begin with a player focused on control and territory before introducing a more attacking option later in the game. Alternatively, they could start aggressively and then use experience from the bench to close out the contest. This ability to change direction during a match reflects the depth that South Africa has built over several years. Hansen praised the courage shown by Rassie Erasmus and his coaching team in continuously experimenting with selections and combinations. While some coaches prefer stability and consistency, Erasmus has often been willing to take calculated risks, rotate players, and test different tactical approaches. As a result, the Springboks now possess an impressive collection of players capable of performing different roles depending on the situation. Hansen described this depth as an arsenal of weapons, giving South Africa options that few international teams can match. Interestingly, while Hansen refused to predict who would start at fly-half, former Wallabies coach Ewan McKenzie was more willing to share his opinion. McKenzie believes that Manie Libbok could receive the starting role, with Sacha Feinberg-Mngomezulu potentially making an impact later in the game. He suggested that South Africa may want to add more attacking energy to their performance while still maintaining the physical foundations that have made them so successful. Even so, McKenzie acknowledged that predicting Springbok selections has become increasingly difficult because of the quality available throughout the squad. In many positions, there are several players capable of performing at a world-class level. That depth has become one of the defining features of the current South African team. While discussing how the match could unfold, McKenzie highlighted some familiar themes that have shaped previous encounters between the Springboks and the All Blacks. The aerial contest is expected to play a major role, with both teams looking to gain territory and create pressure through tactical kicking. Set-piece battles, particularly at scrum time and line-out time, will also be critical. South Africa's powerful maul remains one of the most feared weapons in international rugby, and opponents know that allowing the Springboks to establish momentum in that area can quickly lead to points. At the same time, New Zealand will be searching for opportunities to disrupt those strengths and force South Africa into uncomfortable situations. This ongoing tactical battle is one of the reasons why rugby's greatest rivalry continues to capture global attention. However, Hansen's most intriguing observation was not about fly-halves or specific tactics. Instead, it focused on the challenge that comes with having too many quality options. According to the former All Blacks coach, enormous squad depth can sometimes create problems for selectors. While it provides flexibility and competition, it can also tempt coaches into overthinking decisions. Hansen warned that when a team has so many talented players available, there is a risk of becoming too clever with selections. In other words, coaches may become so focused on finding the perfect combination that they move away from what works best. Hansen explained that South Africa currently possesses some of the deepest resources he has ever seen during his long involvement in rugby. Yet having so many choices increases the pressure to make the correct decisions. The challenge is not whether the players are good enough. The challenge is identifying the combinations that best match the game plan. For Hansen, that is what makes this upcoming test so fascinating. He wants to see whether the Springbok selections perfectly align with the style of rugby they intend to play. The former New Zealand coach believes that getting those combinations right could be just as important as any tactical adjustment made during the match itself. As Thursday's team announcement approaches, interest continues to grow regarding which players will receive the nod from Rassie Erasmus. In previous test weeks, the Springboks coach often revealed his matchday squad earlier than expected, but this time he has chosen to keep everyone guessing a little longer. That decision has only increased speculation among fans and pundits. Every possible selection combination is being discussed, particularly at fly half, where the competition between Handre Pollard, Manie Libbok, and Sacha Feinberg-Mngomezulu remains one of the biggest talking points in world rugby. Regardless of who starts, one thing is clear. The Springboks enter this series with remarkable depth, confidence, and flexibility. They possess experienced World Cup winners, exciting young talent, and a coaching group unafraid to make bold decisions. Yet, as Sir Steve Hansen pointed out, having countless options does not automatically guarantee success. The key will be ensuring that every selection serves a clear purpose and fits the overall strategy. When the Springboks run out at Ellis Park to face their greatest rivals, fans will finally discover which direction Rassie Erasmus has chosen. Will he prioritize control and experience? Will he back creativity and attacking ambition? Or will he combine elements of both approaches to create another tactical masterstroke? Whatever the answer may be,